The Mugiwara have always been an adventure-loving crew. They are characters who are focused on achieving their goals, both on a personal and group level. Furthermore, we know that Oda has always made it clear that his work will not deal with romance, but that does not mean that we cannot do it. Because today we are going to discover the possible partnerships that, in the future, each Mugiwara could have. And today we are romantic. And let's start with the top Nami, because I have several serious candidates for her. The first one is the most popular ship I've seen, and I don't agree with it, since it's with Luffy, for a simple fact that, since the beginning, I've always seen them as brothers. And I'll explain to you. If Luffy does something stupid, Nami gives him a beating with her slipper hockey that leaves him out of the game in an instant. But if someone else hits Luffy, the girl will defend him with her life. Besides, I think she's the one who knows Luffy the most, which results in a very close relationship, but not necessarily a loving one. On the other hand, we have Sanji, who is madly in love with her. And I know that Nami really matters to our favorite pervert, but the thing is that Sanji is in love with everyone, so I rule it out. So, as a last option, I would put Vivi, for the simple fact that they had a lot of chemistry as friends and they get along really well. But here you have to choose, and even if you're not so happy with it, I would choose Luffy over any other character, who for sure has played everything on the Thieving Cat. We're sticking with Sanji. And you know we could put him with Ivankov, but since we want the guy to be happy, we won't do that. Furthermore, we know that this man does everything for Nami and Robin, but there are two who are much better for him. The first being Pudding, who, despite being a minor, really had a great connection since they are both cooks. Besides, it was the most real relationship he had. Add that Pudding also likes him. The other one, and the one I'm going to choose, is Viola, mainly because she's of legal age. She showed an interest in Sanji, since he treated her like a queen, and even without knowing her, he protected her with everything he had. Now let's quickly talk about Usopp. And like every living being, I understand that his ideal love is Kaya. This woman, as soon as she sees that nose and those breasts, becomes like Hinata when she sees Naruto. In fact, this is recorded in the same series. And the thing is that Kaya was always sick, but after Usopp started visiting her, the girl magically recovered from her illness. But beyond that, their connection really seems sincere, because Usopp always wanted to protect her, and Kaya, for her part, admires his courage and way of seeing things. This is indeed an ideal relationship, although we hope that Big Nose is not a bad father like his father. But leaving that aside, we continue with Robin. And something curious that I always thought is that Frankie would really be the ideal husband for this woman. Since Enies Lobby, we have seen that the guy protected her both psychologically and physically when Spandam tried to humiliate her. Cyborg always took care of her and valued her as a person. People, that is something only a real man can do. Add that there are several panels where somehow these two see themselves closer than one might imagine. But despite that, there is one that I would choose over Arnold Schwarzenegger from One Piece. This being Law, knowing that this guy has a very serious and mysterious personality, but that is precisely what makes him perfect to end up together. Man, they both have a similar past with the world government. In addition, they are interested in the history of the world, not having a great curiosity about the D and Robin, who has always wanted to discover all the hidden secrets of the series. Thinking about it, they would be a perfect partner for the FBI. Guys, we're still with Jinbe, who I have no idea who to put him with. Although I know he gets along quite well with Nico Robin, I see this relationship more as a respectful friendship, so I don't think it will get there anymore. But since I have to find a partner for everyone at random, I would choose Arnold's sister, Madame Charlie. I mean, Mamacita Madame Charlie. First, because I have no other options, and second, because they would really be a good couple, also adding that Charlie sees herself as a woman with principles, although she has a problem. The girl sees the future. So the best thing for Jinbe would be not to deceive her. But since we know that Kisame from One Piece is a man with values, I know he will meet our Madame's expectations. Now guys, with Chopper we have many good options. Believe me, first one is Carrot, since she likes adventures. In addition, she has a great friendship with our Dr. Kawai. When we were in Whole Cake, we saw the great chemistry they had, in addition to all the time they spent together getting to know each other. Later, we see that Bugs Bunny's wife calls our Dr. Choniki, which means older brother. This gives us the idea that she friendzonia Chopper. And for that very reason, I have an option that you know and I know is even better. It is Milky, the most seductive Milky in the series. Man, Chopper, as soon as he sees this woman, he goes crazy. Add to that the fact that they are both very affectionate, this makes them much more compatible. So yes, for me, Milky and Chopper would be perfect as a couple. Now let's go to Frankie, the most manly cyborg we've ever seen. Look at those boobs and see what happens to RoboCop from One Piece. In Dressrosa, this guy had a fight between real men with boobs, huge boobs. But in the middle of the fight, there were some women watching the most masculine battle in the series. And there's one in particular who starts to argue. Frankie gets excited and gives her a kiss, man, which drives her crazy. The woman even gets frustrated, so much so that she believes they're going to be a couple. But what automatically rules her out is that later, she kind of says she's not worthy of being with him, something like that. Which leads us to the conclusion that the guy should be with Robin, really. Yes, I know I put her with Law, but we're looking for the perfect partner for Frankie now. Since I've said so far that if the Straw Hats were a family, Robin and Frankie would be the parents. Besides, crazy, this woman has already caught the clouds for Frankie in the kindest and most loving way possible. But if that doesn't work, we could also set him up with Lola, Chiffon's sister. The only small problem is that Lola is already married, and to an underling of Al Capone belly. In other words, we'll have to get mixed up with the mafia. But guys, if you made me choose, this woman would be perfect for a man with so many breasts. We'll continue with Brooke, the skeleton with the most flow in the series. We know that he likes everyone around him and he always wants to see their underwear. But despite his extremely perverted side, he's never really been interested in anyone in particular. So we'll have to theorize because it's complicated. Still, do you remember what happened in Whole Cake? That Big Mom was super interested in the skeleton, so much so that they even slept together. But it's worth it. Big Mom was with 1,500 men and she's possibly in the afterlife. So we need a second option. And to the random, after searching thoroughly for your ideal partner, I found her. Who would be Aphalandra from Amazon Lily, for a simple fact that the girl dresses like Brooke likes. The second, due to the fact that the lady is tall. I added that she plays the violin. This could connect her very well with Brooke. But let's be serious, because let's go to Google Maps, and here we have more options. The first is Perona, who at first were enemies, but after Zoro faces Kuma, he meets Perona, who takes care of him and heals his wounds. People, after the years of the time skip pass, she herself takes him back to Sabaody. And a curious fact, the girl had an abysmal glow up. She went from this to this. Zoro can do very well. The second option for this man with 4 swords would be Tashigi, whom he met in Logetown. Interestingly, she is identical to his best friend from childhood. Look, Tashigi is a woman who respects swords a lot, especially the powerful ones like the ones Zoro has. In addition, this woman always tries to prevent Zoro from doing pirate things. By all accounts, this would be the most opposite-minded partnership in the series. The last option I'll put forward, and the most popular, would be Zoro with Hiyori, Momonosuke's sister, considered the most beautiful in her land. They met in the Wano arc, when our swordsman saved Hiyori from being executed by Killer. Later, they had to take refuge in an abandoned house, where they both slept suspiciously in the same bed. Wow, and I'm sure that Hiyori saw everything about Zoro. Seriously, everything. And also that she has always shown her attraction to him. She also gave him Emma, one of the most powerful swords in One Piece, with the justification that it was to exchange it for Shusui. But let's be realistic. The woman wants to give everything to Mr. Google Maps. Also, imagine for a minute a child of these two. It would be silly. However, since I have to choose one of the 3 options, I would go with Hiyori marrying Zoro. It's just that they seem so different. Finally, she gets the man she's least interested in having a romance with, but he's the one she has the most suitors with. He's the guy who's the best in the manga, Luffy aka Chris Evans. And we start with candidate number 1, Vivi, with whom she has one of the purest connections, since Luffy saw that she's very dedicated to her people and that she'd give her life for them. Plus, since they're both D, they could have a mini Joy Boy as a son. Next up is Boa Hancock, who is madly in love with him, and I know we all want to be Luffy right now, but the best part of all is the story behind them. Look, at the beginning they introduce us to Boa and her hatred for the male gender. But as you get to know the protagonist, you see their disinterest and friendship. Plus, Luffy is immune to her charms, and there's nothing we love more than the impossible. Additionally, the guy defied the world government who once abused her. Maybe Luffy isn't that interested yet, but we'll see later. The third option would be Nami, who, as I explained at the beginning, has a great connection with the captain and navigator. The fourth could be Bonnie, although there is a problem since he is possibly stuck with her since she is 12 years old. However, I rule her out. The The fifth one is one that I personally like a lot, this one being Margaret, who belongs to the Kuja. She showed a lot of interest in Luffy during his stay in Amazon Lily. The chemistry that they generate when they are together is quite good. Even so, the perfect partner for Luffy, in my opinion, will continue to be Hancock. Considering that they both have Conqueror's haki, they have overwhelming strength and make a contrast that is worthy of a party. So that's it, guys. That was today's video. Don't forget to like, subscribe to the channel, and comment on which couple you think should stay together. Till next time, bye.